Hi, I'm Annabel. I'm in my third year of studying English literature at the University of York, and today I'm going to take you through my top 3 tips for budgeting your money at uni. So number 1 is planning ahead. So when I first got my student loan, I was looking at this big sum of cash in my bank and I was like, oh my god, it seems like a lot, but it will disappear fast if you don't think about how you're going to spend it effectively. So the first thing you want to do is think about any extra expenses you get during the term. So these might be society memberships. Are you going to join any sports clubs? You can look on the student union website and find out how much that's going to cost you, because depending on what you do, it can be quite a lot of money. The other thing that you might want to think about is the deposit that you have to give when you sign for your next year of housing, which is crazy that you have to think about that from the start, and you probably won't sign for a house till January. But just to be on the safe side, you might choose to sign for a house the other side of Christmas. These rent deposits can be up to £450, that's how much mine was, and you do get that back at the end of your next tenancy. But if you don't account for that, you can end up in the red quite easily. So once you've thought about those things, you can then start to think about budgeting. So what you want to do is take your student loan plus any extra money you might have that you want to spend during the term, and then you want to take off your rent and then take off these extra costs, and then you've got how much money you can actually spend in the term. So then take that amount, divide it by the number of weeks until your next student loan, which you can easily find online, and you've got a weekly budget. You might want to think about spending less money during the Christmas holidays when you're at home and things are a little bit less expensive, but that's something that you can tinker with. But I definitely recommend having an Excel sheet, because then you can work these things out really easily. One extra thing that I do, that I don't know anyone else who does this, but I find it really helps, is when you get your student bank account, if you've already got a current account, don't close it and use your current account to transfer money from your student account. So say if your weekly budget is £50, transfer yourself £50 a week and only use that card, because that way you can't overspend physically. And it will just make you kind of maybe rethink that extra Tesco meal deal that you're going for that you maybe don't need. Yeah, I found that really helpful. Okay, so that's budgeting. But my second tip, which is going to be a big part of within your budget, is thinking about food, because food can be so expensive if you don't do it right. In my first year, and I know a lot of friends who did this, you kind of think, oh my god, like I've never cooked for myself, I don't know what I'm doing. And you'd end up, getting ready meals from Nisa and things like that, which, nothing wrong with it. Maybe not the healthiest, but it's also very expensive. If you're paying £3 for a ready meal every night, or, a takeaway every other night, ends up being very expensive. So you want to avoid this by doing a big food shop every week, stocking up on all your essentials, and that way you're not going to be tempted to go to Nisa. And then once you've got these things, you need to know how to cook them. So I'd really recommend making a meal plan so you know roughly what you'll eat in a week, what you can have for lunch and stuff like that, and learning to cook a few staple things that are quite cheap that you can just kind of mix in. So this could be things like a chilli, a bolognese, just starting simple and building from there. And our campus newspaper, News, that's Nouse, have some really good recipes on their food and drink section, some written by me, so check those out. But the main things you want to get are like lentils, pulses are very cheap. Don't go hungry, make sure you're getting things that fill you up. Things like meat are obviously going to be more expensive, but it's not about cutting it out completely if you like to eat it, just, it's about having balance and everything like that. Another thing is that the freezer is your best friend. It's so much better to cook a meal that could feed your whole family and then freeze a few portions than to keep cooking every night, because even if you love cooking, you will get tired of it. You will be so busy with other things like your extracurriculars, and you won't want to be stuck in the kitchen all the time, so definitely do that. And my third and final tip is always be thrifty. Never pay full price for anything. There are so many discounts you can get on food, clothing, just anything you might need. So first of all, sign up for uni days and sign up for student beans. It's free. And every time you go to make a purchase, see if those places do discounts for where you're eating or where you're buying from, or base where you go with your mates around where you can get these discounts, because it will add up to a lot. But another thing is, maybe don't buy new every time. So with clothes, one of my top tips is to, if you see something on the high street you like, take a note of, you know, what size you like and everything like that, what the product's called, and look it up on Depop or eBay, because quite often students will buy something, forget to return it, and then that's your gain, and you can find things quite often for half the price that they actually are. And the same goes for books. So as an English student, I've spent a lot of money on books. Yeah, and same for other humanities courses, and often these book bundles can be like, mine was £40 for next term. Obviously this varies a lot, but by looking for them second hand, I managed to get them for £20, so it saved me 20 quid. So I'd recommend World of Books and ABE Books for that. And also via Amazon you can find second-hand sellers, but quite often they'll be posting from different places. So yeah, it's just about bargain hunting at the end of the day. So whether you're going second-hand, whether you're getting a deal, just, yeah, never pay full price. So those are my top 3 tips for budgeting at uni. I really hope this helps you to save money and manage your money well in your first term and beyond that as well. Yeah, thank you.